It's actually funny. Like, I was watching his highlights the other day, of course, because I watch them all the time, and like a lot of them are against the Bears.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's every
highlights are
Packers
against
player, yeah.
his sick juke where like it looked like he was headed one way and then he just put his foot in the ground and went north. That's one against. There's obviously the game winner. Yeah.
Oh man,
I can talk about it all day. I really can. That's my goat
for you, Miller football here. This is I didn't realize you were a Bears fan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's torturing himself with this.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. It's in the name of content, so we'll run with it.
It's his own fault. No.
Anyways, now that we're all done, well, everyone but me is done simping for Randall Cobb. Welcome everybody to the second episode of the Ball Nowhere podcast team previews. As you can probably tell, we are talking about the Green Bay Packers today, and I am joined by Jake Talks Sports. We got Mo over here to my right. Down in the bottom left, we've got our boy Steven, and of course, the man himself, Theo Ash. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Simultaneously talking. I'm good.
That'll be fun to get used to. We got to figure out how that's going to work. But basically, just like the Vikings episode, we're just going to sit down. We're going to talk about the Packers. I have some things that I want to talk about at some point, but I'm not going to force anything. So if there's anything you guys want to start us out with, anyone at all, just speak up and we can start rolling.
Can we start with a moment of silence for Kurt Benkert?
Absolutely.
Oh my
Absolutely.
god!
I'm gonna miss Kurt Benkert, bro.
I was actually so sad when I saw that.
It's tough.
Common Packers.
Does any other fan base even know who Kurt Benkert is? Do you think?
The Falcons,
just us.
Is that who he played for?
Yeah.
Isn't that who he played for? Yeah.
Like Favre. He's just like Favre.
There's like the 3 Virginia football fans who probably know who he is.
He's got a little social media
there.
following, doesn't he? With his live streams and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
He does.
He's everyone's
that's the
favorite
only reason
third string
people know who he
quarterback.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he does find a home somewhere. I don't know where it would be, but I hope it's
It
somewhere.
doesn't really matter. He won't be starting anyway.
The name of the quarterback that we kept is the third string. It was a little strange because the quarterback we kept, I believe, is older than Benkert. So it wasn't like someone younger with more potential came along.
Is it not Blake Bortles currently?
No, it's not Blake Bortles. I wish. I can't remember who.
I also forgot. Because the only one I cared about was Kurt Benkert.
ESPN has it listed as Danny Etling. That's who it is.
Could have fooled me.
Is he younger than Benkert? Is Benkert older than or younger than 27?
I think Benkert's 26.
I think he's 26.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. I thought he was
Benkert
a
said,
lot
I'm
older than that.
gonna miss Green Bay, not gonna lie, is what he said. So with those parting words, our beloved gamer third string is gone.
He did play one snap.
2 snaps.
That's right.
2 snaps.
That's right. Took the knee. What a man.
Who did he get 2 snaps against?
The Bears, dude. He
Oh
closed
my
out the second game of the season, bro.
Of course he did. I should have known that. I should have expected that at the very least.
He was the winning quarterback.
Yeah.
He won that game for us.
He did, yeah.
Kurt Benkert, though. I think looking at this team, the thing I'm actually most excited for, which is I think the first time I can ever say this, is I'm just so excited to watch the defense. I think on paper is the best defense in football. And I think when you talk about the Packers right now, I think like that's the number one thing to be excited about. Like they're going to melt people's faces, especially in the running game. Like nickel, if it's Wyatt, Clark, Smith, Gary, Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell, 3 cornerbacks on the field, and the 2 safeties. Like I no bias aside, I truly cannot name a defense that looks better on paper than the Green Bay Packers right now, which is just day.
So
some could argue that the Bills are there, but I don't know.
I would say so, but I would say they have weaknesses. Tremaine Edmonds is a weakness for them, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
Matt Milano's pretty good. And they're into like Clark and Wyatt is not as good as as Ed Oliver and whoever their other their one tech would be. So I don't know. I might even say doesn't look as good as the Packers on paper, but they also have a better track record of success going back like to last, and they were so successful. So, but that's what I'm most excited about. I don't know your guys' thoughts on what you're like most excited to watch this year.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the defense thing goes, I mean, I feel like it's kind of the same reason why I wasn't too upset when they didn't go receiver in the first round. It's like you have to understand that this offense is not going to be scoring that many points this year, at least not as many as they were with Devontae on the field, because the chemistry that Devontae had with Rodgers is not something you can teach. I mean, those two have a really close relationship, and you can coach a player to be as good as they're going to be, but that chemistry that Rodgers and Adams had, it's not going to be there. Not with Lazard, not with Watson, not with like any of the other guys on the roster. So when you look at that, you're like, we're not going to be scoring that many points, so we might as well just be a brick wall and just shut people down. So when you go with like two of the best defenders from the best defense in college football, I mean, I don't think you can be mad at that. And yeah, I'm very, very excited for this defense.
Yeah, I think we're going to rely a lot more on the run, especially with A.J. Dillon just being who he is. I think he actually might take the spot for running back 1 over Aaron Jones
next year.
Yeah. It wasn't by a lot, but they both had like 800 yards.
Yes.
I definitely have an eye on the like second and third year players on our defense. Like looking for Rashawn Gary to take a big step up, looking for Stokes to take a big step to almost to an elite level and make the defense completely elite.
Yeah, honestly, even if Stokes doesn't really improve, he's already pretty good. So I mean, that's fine.
Who would you put in the, like that two outside corners slot, like nickel corner? Would you put Jair there, or would you keep him on the outside? Do you think? That's a question that I was asked, and I'm curious what you. It's Rasul Douglas, Stokes, Jair, and I would put Jair. I think Jair projects to the slot in that lineup. So with Rasul and Stokes to the outside.
Move Jair to whoever the best receiver is. Move him around.
But like, I wonder if Stokes, Douglas, they're just kind of big, fast, kind of straight line guys. I wonder if they're better set to the outside and Jair's more suited to the nickel. That's just because that's where Jair got his start. I wonder if in nickel, if their plan is, if Jair is going to line up more in the slot more than anything this year, especially because so many great wide receivers seem to be lining up there.
If I was to move one of the other receivers in the slot, say we have like, we're facing like Adams, who's like off to the side, I think I'd rather have Rasul Douglas there than Stokes, but I do think Alexander is better in the slot than those two.
Sure, for sure. I just thought that was an interesting kind of hypothetical.
Well, back to kind of talking about what we're most excited for with the Packers. Obviously, as a Bears fan, I don't have a lot of room to talk. I'm very excited to see what is going to happen with the receiver room, just because it is projected to be so, God knows, like I don't even know. I don't know how to explain it because it looks like it's going to be very bad. But Aaron Rodgers is
Bears
Aaron Rodgers.
level.
Yeah, sure.
It's
okay.
The Bears level.
Okay.
Bears level.
Yeah.
It's Bears level bad.
The only difference is you guys have Aaron Rodgers, who is probably the greatest improviser to ever play the game of football, and will always find a way to make these abysmal receiver cores work. So I'm excited to see how Rodgers is going to do it this year, because I don't think he's been in a situation where it's been quite this bad. But like I said, he's going to figure out it's going to happen, and I am going to lose sleep over it because it makes no goddamn sense for this man to be able to pull off this kind of shit.
Was it not this bad when Adams was out last year?
He has a great record without Adams. He is like something
he's
like
really good without Adams. Yeah,
his records
under LaFleur. Yeah.
I think there was a period. I mean, I don't know how online, like on Twitter, you guys were in about like 2015 to 2019, when Rodgers was kind of down analytically, and like the Ben Baldwins and the analytics people of the world were like, he is so overrated because he would finish outside the top 10 in DVOA and whatnot. and the offense would be pretty inefficient. And that was before Devontae really was in his prime. Jordy missed some time and was kind of dipping out of his prime, and like James Jones was there leading the league in touchdowns.
Oh yes.
Hoodie James Jones was so different.
Yeah.
But the
Those teams
offense
was
was pretty inefficient. The offense was pretty inefficient, and Rodgers was not super efficient. So I guess my question is, like, was it the wide receivers or was it late stage McCarthy? Because that's the other, like, as soon as LaFleur took over, it started looking better. So I don't know. One thing that I grapple with is, are we going to go back to that, like, kind of outside the top 10 type of efficiency in offense because the wide receivers are bad? Or was that a McCarthy problem, and under LaFleur, it's just going to be, continue to hum? So I guess, Floor, what do you guys think?
I personally think it was a McCarthy problem because I think a lot of our failures, especially in the playoffs, were McCarthy problems. But that's just kind of my hot take. He has some very bad play calls.
Yeah, I mean, McCarthy has proven himself now in his time in Dallas to just not be that good of a head coach. I think it's pretty obvious, like, the end of McCarthy's term when he was fired after we lost to the Josh Rosen-led Cardinals, and that was just an abysmal game at Lambeau Field. It was awful to watch. And so, like, when it comes to that offensive efficiency, I just think because Matt LaFleur is probably just absolutely miles ahead of McCarthy as an offensive play caller, it should just continue to hum the way it did. But I don't, like, hate Alan Lazard. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but I'm not, like, entirely, like, low on Alan Lazard. I don't think he's, like, some elite wide receiver, but yeah.
Receiver, man. I think he's our best one.
Yeah, he is, for sure.
I think WVS is our best one.
We lost him.
No,
All this game.
He calls Christian Watson WVS because he's the same type of player.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Yeah, I was like, I think
I can't
don't
project
know,
it as a
man.
rookie. Yeah.
College tape. I was a little disappointed when we traded up for him specifically, just because I think WVS is a decent thing to call him, where he is literally just discount MVS. Like, he does the same things.
I was really pulling for Alec Pierce there. Yeah.
Too. I think Alec Pierce is better. And Sky Moore. I would like Sky Moore a little bit more
I would
as
have
well.
taken Sky Moore there. Yeah.
I had him on my prediction, Sky Moore to the Packers, but
it would have been nice, dude.
It would have been really nice. Or even, I liked Khalif Raymond. No, that's the guy on the Lions.
Khalil Shakir.
That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Went like round 5, but I had a higher grade on him than Watson even. So waiting a little bit. I don't know. I like Dubs, the 4th round guy, almost as much as I liked Christian Watson. So
yeah.
I saw something today.
I'm not super excited about Watson, but Lazard, my hot take is, like, Lazard is going to, like, lead the league in touchdowns. If Hoodie James Jones could do it, Rodgers is making Lazard do it.
Be, yeah.
They're kind of similar.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it'll be a tight end. I think it'll be like Mercedes Lewis who leads the team, and maybe
Mercedes Lewis, baby.
Leads the touchdowns?
Yeah.
Or leads the team in touchdowns? Lewis?
Yeah. I think Lewis has like 4 touchdowns on the Packers in general.
About that?
I don't even know if Lewis caught one. He caught one last year against the Niners. I'm pretty sure, but
everyone freaked out because it was the first round player that Rodgers.
Oh yeah,
to.
Yeah. There were those narratives. Yep.
That's not true. Didn't he throw like a touchdown to like a 1st round corner?
Oh, probably.
William, he has thrown a pick 6 to, I believe, William Jackson. So, yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it'll be. I definitely think that we're gonna get a dip in efficiency a little bit, just because, like, how can you not, right? I mean, Devontae was just so good, but I think it'll be better than the McCarthy years. Although I do worry, like, LaFleur spams like a limited number of things a lot of times. So if that ever like gets stale or doesn't work without Devontae, like, I don't know if the bag is quite as deep as like an Andy Reid or something like that. I worry a little about it. I definitely think the offense will fall off a little bit, but it won't be to the like the defense will be able to make it up. And my expectation is still to win the North, I would say. Like, I assume that's every Packers.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins is still Kirk Cousins, and you know, I don't know. I mean, the Lions obviously might even finish above the Bears, but like they're no threat.
Oh, I fully believe they will.
honestly,
There's no, they might.
I mean,
It's a guarantee. The Lions will be better than Chicago this year.
Sadly, but you know,
It'll be interesting for sure. I mean, it's not like really have competition in the North, though.
I mean, the
threatened.
NFC
I
in
do.
general
There's
is kind
just
of up in the air.
I think could have so much star power with Jefferson and Za'Darius and not Everson Griffin, Danielle Hunter and Scene and Harrison Smith and you know Booth now. There's and Kendricks and Brian O'Neill and Cook. Like there's just too much star power, and they've been bad recently. But I think what they were betting on is like Zimmer lost the locker room, and a spark will kind of get him going. And I don't think that's like a bad take by them. I don't think that's like a bad idea.
Right.
It's just like Zimmer was the only problem. We don't need to blow things up. So I think the Vikings could seriously threaten, sadly, as much as I hate to say it. But
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I do think the Packers are a little bit better. But it kind of depends on the offensive line of both teams, I think, is what it will come down to. But
You don't
The
think it'll come
offensive
down to
line-
Kirk. You think it'll
line
come down to the line.
Kirk is what he is at this point,
Okay.
man. Like,
Yeah.
I
Fair
think
enough.
Kirk is.
It's been too long. It's been
it,
too long.
like is good in his system. He's accurate. He's got a pretty good arm, but he can't create outside of structure. And I don't really trust him to move like read both concepts on both sides of the field. But like he'll just hit the check down if the first thing isn't there. So he's not an aggressive player. He's not an overly like super smart player or super talented player. Like he's good. He's accurate. He can get the job done. And especially in like a Rams type of system, which is what they're bringing in. But like, yeah, Kirk is what he is at this point. I think the X factor will be like the defense on the Vikings, how many people can stay healthy. But I think they could threaten. But yeah, those are my pick to win the North.
Are we worried about the depth at corner?
Yes.
Or how worried are we?
Yeah, I would be.
We are very worried.
I mean, it's really just those three guys, right? That you would really trust.
We lost Chandon Sullivan also to the Vikings.
Yeah.
And who behind that is St. Jude? No. There's someone with a multifaceted
Yeah,
last name.
I know what you're talking about, but I also can't think of their name.
It was not that good last year. I mean, it was there was a lot of stars on that team, and Rasul Douglas broke out, and Stokes was good, but I mean, losing Jair really did hurt. It was not any sort of lockdown defense last season. So, like, losing Jair again, it would be tough. Losing Stokes, or if Stokes doesn't, it's Gene Charles. It's Gene Charles. Kayshawn Nixon, I believe, is how you pronounce that.
Yeah.
Kavion Ento. So yeah, we don't want any of those guys starting. No.
Hopefully we don't get to that point.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But we are worried about the depth in the secondary. I think that's the only thing keeping it from being a truly, truly elite unit, though.
Yeah.
Do you think if Alexander gets hurt, we move Vernon Scott down to corner?
I think that maybe. I think that they play three safeties a decent amount. Like that third safety gets a decent amount of play.
Yeah.
And I think they would specialized role. I think they've invested a lot of these kind of later round draft picks in corners. I think we'd see Shamar, Gene Charles, or Kayshawn Nixon or whoever there. But I mean, I guess they could.
Do we think any of the receivers will break 1,000 yards?
I probably would with the deep threat he can be. Maybe.
I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see that.
I honestly don't think so either. I think Lazard has 800 max.
I think Aaron Jones might even be the leader of.
Ooh, okay.
Receiving yards?
Yeah, that's very possible.
I don't hate that take.
I don't either.
If Dylan takes the more like RB1 role and gets more carries, obviously Jones is the better receiving option. So I mean, it's not impossible, but I mean,
the thing is Aaron Jones is like 5'9",
That's true.
So,
A small slot
I-
guy.
yeah, yes.
Yeah. Cooper
That's
Kupp.
what Randall Cobb's for. Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's more likely that both of our running backs go over 1,000 yards than it is any of our receivers go
Yeah.
over 1,000 yards.
I
I
don't hate
truly
that.
believe
I
that.
don't hate that. Yeah.
Truly believe that. I think it's ground and pound. I think that it's all of that. Rodgers can just be efficient. My other take, I bet Rodgers leads the league in throwaways again. That's all I gotta say. It's been a while since we've seen it, but with the lack of chemistry, I think that we're gonna see some angry Rodgers this year, throwing
Angry
tablets and
Rodgers,
throwing
yeah.
things around. Yeah.
I'm getting very frustrated that we keep cutting whoever Rogers' favorite receiver is in camp. Like
He
It's motivation, man. It's motivation.
He's gone, man. He's getting cut. They're giving Rodgers. That's why they drafted Love and they cut all of his favorite guys. They're like, we're just gonna light the fire under you a little bit.
Yeah. 2 straight MVP seasons. So
Is it possible he does a three-peat like Favre did?
I don't think so.
No.
Honestly. I mean, he is narrative-wise in a good position. Devontae left. He's just kind of there with no receivers. If he has a really good season, there's going to be a lot of like three-peat narratives. But honestly, I'm big on like the Herbert train or like the Allen train this year. Honestly, I think it. I don't know. I don't. It's very hard to win 3 in a row. And Rodgers, I mean, is obviously capable of it, but with that receiving core, like Theo said, he might just be throwing the ball away a lot and just be running the ball quite a bit.
Last year, his counting stats weren't great. He won it off the efficiency, right? Like
Mhm.
Brady blew him away in counting stats. He was just so efficient and accurate at all levels of the field. And his team, I guess, maybe wasn't quite as good with all the injuries on the offensive line. This year, like, I just don't think he's going to have the counting stats or the efficiency. Like, I think there's going to be some quarterback in that AFC who, like, is just roll just that really, really tough conference, and like the one is probably going to win it. Like the quarterback of the AFC 1 seed is probably going to win it, whether that be Allen or Herbert or Burrow or Mahomes or whoever. Like if you can play good enough,
It'll be Derek Carr.
it'll be Derek Carr. Honestly, I love the Raiders, but yeah, I think I after to a 3P. He would have to play out of his mind to be the best quarterback with this wide receiving, like out of his like prime Rodgers, and like at 38 years old, I don't see it.
This is not even really a hot take, but I actually have Tom Brady winning it next year.
Either.
He's
probably last year.
He's probably the betting favorite in the NFC for sure. Like I would say.
Yeah, no. Agree. Like Brady is just still loaded. You know, last year voters might fancy him a little bit for the fairy book, the storybook ending.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Sure. And he has a good chance to go to the Super Bowl as well, just because the Bucks are so good.
I think so too.
Yeah. Now,
Ron, what is your take?
Oh, I forgot. Okay.
What did you say?
Yeah, I was lost there for a second.
In what regard, of Rodgers' MVP chances or just in general?
Rodgers MVP chances.
I'm with Theo. I really don't think it's very likely. Like he said, he's not going to have the efficiency stats. He's not going to have the counting stats.
No, sure.
Rodgers, listen, I'm not being a salty Bears fan here. Okay, there's legitimately like it's Rodgers, so I'm never going to fully count him out. That type of deal. But there are a lot of guys that I just see having an easier and very more realistic path to the MVP. I just don't think it'll happen for Rodgers this year, fortunately.
This is expectations for Bakhtiari and kind of the offensive line in general. I wonder if he's going to come back at full strength. What do you think he'll just come back? Like, what are your expectations for the line?
I'm a little bit scared of Bakhtiari because I mean, obviously he's probably like healthy, still like a top 5 tackle, I would say. maybe he slipped out of there. But I mean, I just feel like coming off of an injury where he played a couple games last year, right towards the end. Am I wrong? Okay. So yeah, he hasn't played. I mean, I think it's just hard to come back and be like as good as he was at that point. You know, I mean, like Bakhtiari is like incredible, but I'm a little worried. But at the same time, like I still have a lot of trust in what we've seen out of him already.
I think we have enough depth that it will be okay, but he's kind of a missing puzzle piece on that offensive line.
Yes. I'm a little worried. Like,
Cut out Theo.
Yeah, Theo, we cannot hear a word you are saying.
Nothing.
how about now?
No, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay. I was just going to say, like, the offensive line concerns me a little bit, like, with Bakhtiari's injury. He's only 30, like, or he is 30, whatever you want to say, if that's only, or he's already. But, like, Trent Williams is 33. Tyron Smith is 31. So, like, we've seen some pretty high-level, offensive tackle play into the 30s at this point. But, yeah, coming off that ACL and how long it's taken him to recover, if he's not 100%, and I don't even know who the right tackle is going to be, whether that be Josh Nijman or Rasheed Walker, Zach Tom, Cole Van Lanen, it's like the tackle position, I'm not maybe Elton Jenkins slides over there. He can kind of do a little bit of everything.
That's where I expect Jenkins to fall.
Yeah, that's where
Tackle,
ESPN has him
Yeah.
listed right now as the starting right tackle.
And then I assume Nijam will be the starting left tackle if Bach is not 100%, which is okay. Like, he played out of his mind.
Really lucky as Packer fans to have the offensive line coach that we do, and also the refs not kind of calling holding penalties on us.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it'll be fine, but it's definitely something that's a little like eye raising. Like, hopefully the line is okay. It should be, though. They do a really good job developing talent there.
Hopefully our special teams is okay.
We brought in Bizacha. That is like
We got
the
our
ultimate
guy. We got our
savior
guy.
of the Packers special teams unit.
I mean, it
I
was
don't
abysmal.
know, man.
It can't get worse. Can it?
worst
I don't think
I've
it can't
ever
get
seen.
worse. It can't get worse.
The return.
I mean, every
out of me.
team had in every game had at least like a 25+ yard return against us. Like it seems like every single time we were playing any team, their punt returner was just like
Keem
I don't know. And then
Grant.
obviously, yeah, Jakeem Grant going off, and then the freaking it's the divisional game, yeah, where the punt got blocked, and I don't know what Horquist was doing, and like here we are,
Goal
here we
got
sit
blocked
again.
as well.
You know?
A field
Yeah.
goal got blocked as well.
Oh, yeah,
Every
field goal got
return went
blocked.
past the 25. It was legitimately the worst special teams I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like,
and then like the last play, we only had 10 people on the field. Like,
Yeah.
it was just a clown show. And
Is this odd, our special teams coach at this point? Like, we've run through so many over the past year, but like, this is just insane.
gotta be right. It's just like, I mean, who else do you blame
it
it
has
on?
to be.
yeah.
Gotta be something about they don't practice enough. They don't prioritize signing good.
They
special
probably just
teamers.
don't focus on special teams enough. If
In
I'm
practice,
being honest,
I have
could be
no
it.
idea. Maybe it's LaFleur's thing where it's just like special teams will get figured out and we're just gonna run offense and defense all the time. I literally have no idea what it could be. Like, why?
Mhm.
Because who was the special teams guy before? We hated him too, and he was terrible. And then we replaced him and it got worse. So, I don't know, Jeff Janis back or something to be a punt gunner.
Yeah.
Jeff
And
Janis.
like, he was such
He's
a good punt. He was such a
He's
good punt
around
gunner.
somewhere. He's around here somewhere.
You guys remember Jarrett Bush?
Oh,
I do.
Time ago, he was a horrible cornerback, but really good punt gunner from like 2011. The guy's back.
Do we think Mason Crosby is going to be kicking the field goals?
At least to start, I would say. I mean, I could very well see him losing his job pretty early on if he starts missing like he did at some points last year. I mean, that Bengals game was wild. Even
Yeah.
McPherson was just missing everything. But I mean, Crosby his inconsistency is gonna come back to bite us more than it already has. The more he plays, I think. So I'd be very wary of it, but I don't think there's any reason to not at least start out the year with him at kicker.
And also, Rogers really likes Crosby, so I'm surprised they haven't cut him yet.
That's true. They'll probably be like, they go 0-3 the first 2 weeks, so like we got to get something going with Rogers, so they're gonna cut Crosby.
Didn't we sign a kicker in like February? I don't know his name, but I think we signed one like a while ago.
He's on a
They're so a big problem. Like the guy who obviously Crosby was not as accurate as he needed to be, but there are also multiple problems with the way like the whole held the thing, football, and like that could be a thing. Like it was just a mess, man. And I feel like with Crosby, I think they're gonna bank on that being the main issue, and like with the new special teams coach, he's gonna be fine again. There's going to be a little bit more cohesion with the whole process and more faith in the whole process. Because, like, as bad as Crosby is, like, most kickers suck, right? Bears fans know this. Viking fans know this. Like, bringing in a guy off the street is not really a solution. So I think they roll until they, like, draft a dude in the draft. So, which they do. Until that happens, I'm convinced Crosby's going to be the starter.
He's like, what, 40 something now? 40. I don't know if he's in his 40s yet.
I think he's late
30s.
30s.
I'm on the roster. He's 37.
I thought he was close to.
He's got the easy mistake to make, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Not in his
52.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mention the lack of a holder that Green Bay has had.
Talking, we can't hear you, bud.
Hold on.
We're on this.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're
okay. It's funny that you mentioned the ability of your holders recently, because bringing in Pat O'Donnell over from Chicago, ironically, that was like his big thing, was that he was our holder and was a tremendous holder for however long he was with the Bears. Good Lord, it was like a decade, just under. Not a great punter. He's not fantastic, but as a holder, he is very consistent and is definitely someone that's going to be able to pull that off. And I don't know, I just wanted to bring up Pat O'Donnell because my heart is broken that he's now in Green Bay. I loved that man. I truly did. And you assholes just had to steal him from me.
Last year, well,
Donald jersey.
last year was weird because like he was really good to start the year, and then he just seemed to totally fall off and was like shanking punts towards the end. I don't know. It was just such a disaster on every level. I can't believe it. It was so bad.
Honestly, even the shanked punts were better than just kicking it down the middle.
Yeah, because no return.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a fair point. I kind of just want to break David's heart a little bit more with our secondary, and Adrian Amos just being a Packer probably just hurts his feelings.
The only man that made Eddie Jackson look like a half-decent safety.
Remember after 2018, the Bears signed Clinton Dix, and the Packers signed Amos. And the Bears fans on Twitter, this was the worst I've ever seen a fan base on Twitter, was that specific move was a Bears fan like taking a gleeful victory lap that they signed Clinton Dix and the Packers signed bum Amos. And like I argue with so many Bears fans, I'm like, guys, Clinton Dix is not good. Like I'm telling you, you did not upgrade at safety just then. And they were so happy. I don't know why they were so happy that they released Amos, and they were like, Eddie Jackson carried him. Is so much better. It's like you guys have never seen play in your life. So, and then the first game of Amos's career was against the Bears, and or his first game as a Packer was against the Bears, and he ended the game with a pick of ski in the end zone to seal the game. And it was, I excited I've been since the Packers won the Super Bowl. Shout out Adrian Amos for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Savage needs to take a leap. That's the weak point in the defense, I think. Savage has not lived up to the first round hype. I think he's been okay. He hasn't been horrible, but if he could like be what he's billed as and what he's flashed for a whole year, I think that's what it really comes down to. Like the defense, like he is a weak link, and if you're only as strong as your weakest link, I've got to see better play from him.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
He misses quite a few tackles, which is very weird considering where he like his big thing in college was like coming up and hitting.
Yeah, I'm almost curious if they even might move him to corner.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
That's like the default
say
for any
the
safety
line-
that
Then who's
can't
the
tackle.
safety?
Every
Yeah,
fan
I
wants
mean-
every
Then who's the
safety that can't
safety?
play. Yeah, that too.
Oh,
Oh no,
whose camera went out?
Mo. He's still there though. You can hear us, right?
Yeah, he's there, just this cute little puppy.
Oh my, this
Nice.
has been fantastic. The episode I'm most excited for, and everything technically that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. This has been a disaster.
That's fine.
Yeah,
It's
I
better
feel
than
great,
most
man.
of this. Look, it's been better than most of the Stay Hot recordings recently. So I'm
Really?
actually pleasantly surprised
Interesting.
about how quick.
Interesting.
Yeah,
West
when we were
Coast
talking
is
about
horrible.
we were talking about coaching stuff with the special teams. What do you guys think the impact of losing Hackett like offensively is going to be? Is that really going to be an issue with like LaFleur's ability? Like, are we going to see like anything kind of shift because we don't have him, or are we going to see it like just kind of be like a smooth transition because of LaFleur?
Hackett, the biggest part of this offense. I honestly don't think he's going to be a great head coach in Denver. I don't. I think like complimented what LaFleur did, and I think that like probably bounced ideas off of him, and they probably got a lot done behind the scenes. But as far as like the architect of this offense, I've never had the feeling like Hackett is the guy like some offensive coordinators are, So I think that he's fine, and from a personality standpoint, like he's not quite the personality that I'd expect from
No.
a head coach. He's like very Reddit off it, Reddit Dogecoin. Like I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've seen
Like,
some
I
of
know
his mic
exactly
up
what you
stuff.
mean.
Yeah, he's a little
like
goofy.
a substitute teacher. I don't know. He's like the chill substitute teacher. He's not Belichick. He's not McVay. He's not Shanahan. He's kind of a personality for a head coach. So I don't know. I think that he was definitely a good offensive coordinator, but I don't think he's the architect of the offense. I think that they will be able to move on without Hackett. I think
would
if the
assume
offense
so.
does struggle, I think I would blame the wide receiving core is what I'm more losing Devontae worries me a lot more than losing Hackett. That's what I've got to say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's valid.
I don't think Hackett will like loss will beat anything. Like we hired somebody up from internal the organization.
Yes.
And it's somebody who has been in the organization for like 10 years almost.
And I mentioned how good our offensive line development is and how it is consistently pretty good despite injuries. And he was the offensive line coach. So I thought that was a good hire.
And even that, we're going to be running the ball a lot this season. And who is the best person to know where to run the ball with our offensive line than an offensive line coach?
Fair enough.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely think like the Shanahan and the McVay, like it's McVay less so this year, but that heavy running game like that we see from them and that really creative running game that we see from them is what we're going to continue to see. Yeah. Oh, that's I guess my one concern is things maybe getting a little stale. Like I said, I think like offense could lack some of the high flying like big plays, explosive plays, and if things bog down, I wonder just how fast they'll be able to get it switched up.
Yeah.
I would have that problem if I would have that concern even if Hackett stayed, because it's just more of the same. You got to kind of switch up your flavor a little bit every couple of years, I think. So that's what I guess I'm the most concerned about is on top of Devontae leaving, the team getting a little bit complacent with their scheme.
Yeah.
But that would happen even if I would still have that concern even if Hackett was still around.
I do think with Sammy Watkins and WBS, we could see like them going deeper down the field because we haven't really had true deep threats other than Adams.
Because of all the Scantling.
Yeah.
MVS, yeah.
He
He's very
dropped
good.
so many balls deep though, and
Had-
Rogers just stopped.
He was
throwing it.
open. He was open though.
Until you see Christian Watson ball tracking ability. That's all I gotta say, man.
Wait till
His-
Christian Watson stops doing the exact same thing. Yeah.
literally struggles tracking the football down the field, and he's got issues throughout training camp. He's literally just MVS. He's big, he's fast, he can't track the football or run really clean routes. Like,
Yeah, I'm honestly
Yeah,
more
they just-
excited about Romeo than I am for Watson.
Yeah.
maybe I think Watson could develop into something much. I mean, obviously the seal, like his combine was so ridiculous,
Right.
but
Sure.
like I seriously think Dubs could make the better impression immediately, but Watson down the line, I'm more excited for.
What
Really
what
depends
kind of
on
role
who-
are we going to see Amari Rodgers in this year?
I was
do
just
we
about to
think?
ask about Rodgers.
If
I'm very
if
intrigued
if,
to see
if
him.
any.
Okay, but before we get there, I actually have a question. Do you guys think they drafted him because his name is A. Rodgers?
He's
Just
A.
the
Rodgers, and
ultimate
he's apparently
Packers.
the next Tay Adams, so he was perfect for Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they were looking for a Randall Cobb replacement, and then we brought Randall Cobb back. So I really don't see Rodgers having much playing time until Cobb leaves.
He's pretty injury prone, so probably fill that role.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amari Rodgers very
Cut out again.
Cut out.
Try again.
Oh
Hold your
Oh
mic
my.
closer. Discord's kind of weird about it. Speak.
Nope.
No.
Oh my god.
It's okay. This will be the best episode. So
Oh yeah,
it's fine.
absolutely.
You can just cut out all this dead time.
You think? Okay, I gotta learn how
What
to
is
edit before I can do
this?
that. There we go.
Good.
Perfect.
Theo Ash has returned.
I was just gonna
No.
say Amari Rodgers is 5'9". Okay, so he is not
True.
on the outside. He is a slot guy. They're not using him like they used Adams. They're not using him as the Z. I don't think of him as a deep threat either. Yeah, I guess they did draft him before they brought Cobb back. So yeah, I think you're exactly right. That was the role. So I don't know if they'll phase Cobb out or maybe they'll use Cobb a little bit more in that X role and like they'll move him to what Devontae was, although that's never been what Cobb has done. He's always been the slot guy. So maybe desperate times call for desperate measures, but I would see Watkins more there. I think they'll split time with him. And I mean, how many receptions did Amari Rodgers have? 8 last year?
Yeah.
Something ridiculously
pathetic.
small. There's nowhere to go but up. He was a horrible special teams player. So, it was, and most rookies have bad, most rookie wide receivers are not great, especially in the third round, but to not even crack the lineup was definitely a bad sign over Cobb. So I'm not particularly hopeful about him, but if he could take over and be a really solid slot guy, if he could be a really solid slot guy, Amari, Watson, the Z, stretching the field like MVS did, and Watson being the route runner, the X, I guess you could kind of see it start to come together like that, but that's a lot to ask of all of those guys.
Yeah.
You have the pieces to make a receiver room, but they're just not up to the talent level you'd like them to be, unfortunately.
I see how they all fit together,
Mhm.
but it's just a bad puzzle, right?
Yeah.
The finished product isn't good.
Yeah.
No.
A lot of running.
Yeah.
Maybe we catch people off play action a lot, where we run it 7.
I mean,
8
Rodgers is the best in the league at selling play action by
Yeah.
far. So,
Now that Baker is not a starter, Baker is also really good at that. He's not good at much, but Baker can sell the hell out of a play action fake. He's a god at that. Rodgers is really good.
Speaking of Baker, this is completely off topic. Do you think he holds out this year?
Who's not gonna play
He-
tonight for the Browns? I don't
Oh
think.
God, I cannot imagine if Deshaun Watson gets suspended, which is
I
not
don't
even a
even
sure
think
thing
Baker
right now.
would play.
Baker
Yeah.
is not saving them after the way they just kicked him to the curb.
Yeah.
Future Seahawk, I fear.
Could say this: you think we see a Jordan Love trade at any point this year?
I was really hoping that there were some rumors like draft before this one about like a Patriots trade for Jordan Love, and we would have taken their pretty high like first round pick because that was like after the Cam Newton year, so they were kind of up there. And I mean I don't know what are we expecting in return for Jordan Love? Like who wants Jordan Love and is willing to give anything for him?
We're not getting a first round pick for Jordan Love at this point.
No.
Half the point of a rookie quarterback is the rookie deal, and he's not going to have any years left. So even though we haven't really seen much from him, like he is still pretty, I think, depreciating in value. The longer that, although his next contract isn't going to be huge or anything like that, but that rookie deal for a first round pick is big.
I really think we are asking for a second. Like that, we need a second for him. I don't think any team
At
is going
least,
to come up.
yeah.
I think we keep him.
Yeah.
Being a high level backup or a backup that you at least think or hope can win some
Matt
games
Flynn
is a valuable
replacement,
thing.
yeah.
He's not as good as Matt Flynn.
He has the most yards in Packers history, the most touchdowns in Packers history, and led the biggest comeback in Packers history with Favre and Rodgers and
Packers legend, baby.
and
Packers legend.
Star. He has a single game record in like all of those stats, and he played like 2 games. He was the GOAT, man. GOAT backup.
Look at y'all
And
bragging
then he
about
went to
quarterbacks.
Seattle. And nothing.
And then he went to Seattle, and then they Seattle get bag, and then they drafted Russ in the 3rd round, and they're like, oh, this Russell Wilson character is pretty good. Yeah, so is what it is. But I guess overall, that's kind of all the position units. What would your record prediction be like? And like, what are you putting your money on?
11-6,
11-6.
12-5, probably.
Yeah, I can see
12-5
that.
is-
12-5 is probably where
I
I'd
can
go
see
as well.
like maybe like a 13. I think our ceiling is probably 13 wins. I don't see us getting any more than that. I haven't looked at the schedule in a while. So I don't really know,
Quarterbacks
like,
on
how
it
hard
are
it is.
so easy. Like we run through the AFC East, so it's like Zach Wilson, Tua, Mac Jones, and then Josh Allen, who of course is good.
Yeah, I don't
In our
really
division,
understand.
it's like Cousins twice, Goff twice. I mean, obviously, you hope Fields becomes more than a bad player, but
Yeah.
Fields twice. So we'll see if that's like a good thing or not. But quarterback schedule, like I think this defense is just gonna kill some of these quarterbacks on their schedule, and I think the defense is gonna allow like 15 points a game in some of these matchups against these quarterbacks. So there's like 10 right there, and then like if you could win 2-3 games against some of these, we'll say there's 8 or 9 right there, and then win like 2 or 3 games against these like tougher opponents. I'm seeing like 11, 12, something like that.
Yeah,
in terms of
our
wins.
schedule is so easy for being the 1 seed last year.
It is a little crazy,
UFC.
that we would get that.
I went through the schedule yesterday. I put
We open with the Bears.
Thanks.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we opened
Oh,
the
right.
Vikings.
That makes sense. We open with the Vikings, yeah.
Oh.
Bears,
And-
Bucks, Patriots, Giants, Jets, Commanders, Bills, Lions, Cowboys, Titans, Eagles, Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings, Lions. 12 wins.
12 and 5.
Mickey Mouse schedule,
Sort of
unfortunately.
That's setting up for prime playoff, like NFC Championship game loss is what we're
Yeah.
saying here.
Yeah.
We're setting
But-
up
One seed
beautifully for a
cruise
1
to the
seed.
championship, yeah.
Why do we lose
First
the
round exit.
championship this year? Is it the receivers?
I think it's the receivers. I think against some of these easier teams,
It
like
would-
the offense is
yeah.
going to be efficient and clip along, but then like you go up against a you got to win like 3 in a row against the hardest teams in the league. Like we just don't have the firepower. I think that's going to be our downfall at the end of the
like
season.
if we run into like that Bucks secondary or like even like the Rams secondary with Jalen Ramsey, I mean Jalen Ramsey is going to cook whoever he decides to cover against the Packers this year if we have to face them in the playoffs. So I think when it comes down to that, I'm not even sure we'd make it to the NFC Championship because if we face either the Bucks or the Rams before the NFC Championship, I don't see our receivers breaking through those secondaries. So
Unfortunately.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
We can also like have it be a 1-point game and then go for a field goal and then double.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, you're lucky I
Our
unplugged
whole-
my
our whole
headset for
there.
that to fix my mic, and I didn't hear it. I heard the tail end, and that's all I needed. Smart ass.
Good, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I think that I feel 12 wins. 12 wins lose in the playoffs. I think that's
12
pretty
wins, losing
easy.
for the Super Bowl.
That's a pretty easy Packers prediction. If you want to like a free team, like get a record prediction right for the last 10 years, just bet on that.
Infinite money
It's looking
glitch right
the
there.
same this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
free infinite money glitch. Just bet on the Packers to be a good regular season team.
I
And
mean,
blow
even
it
if
in
they
the
do
playoffs.
somehow make it to the Super Bowl, whoever the AFC team is will probably wipe the floor with them. So
We're gonna need, probably.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling great about our Super Bowl odds right now.
no,
so,
not at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
It'd be nice.
Get Rodgers one more. If we could, everything would change. One last thing I'll add: Julio Jones is still a free agent, and Julio Jones is still a really good player when he's healthy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that would be the one signing we could make at this point, where it's like healthy Julio. Well, excuse me, and to stretch the field, that is like, okay, now we've got a little bit of firepower. But like who is playing that X? Is it Watson, who can't run routes at this point, or drops all these passes? He's not a refined route runner. Like, I don't know.
And
but Julio to me, like, why isn't he a Green Bay Packer right now? I could not tell you. Yeah. Do we have the cap? Make it. I don't care.
I mean, like, technically
Make
OBJ is still an option too, isn't he?
Yeah, but we don't know how he's going to be
He's
coming
still out
off
there?
his second ACL tear.
Rather have Julio, but
I'd probably rather Julio too. But yeah.
I think I'd rather run
Be
with
happy
our
with him.
receiving core.
I don't. No, I would not.
Yeah, y'all got to
If
go
I had
get
the option
Julio.
between our current receiving core and adding Julio to it, I would take Julio all day.
Not
sure.
Julio, then OBJ. Just because
it depends on how he looks when he comes
the
back.
locker room, it's been
That's
an issue
true.
on every single team, and
Has
we
it?
need
How's?
locker.
I mean,
I
they all
don't think it was an issue.
I don't know.
It was just Baker.
I don't think it was an issue on the. I think Baker was the locker room issue on the Browns.
That's
to be
true.
perfectly honest.
Because there was some drama with Baker.
I think
OBJ.
I think all the Browns players actually like loved Odell Beckham Jr. and like didn't think Baker was all that. I truly believe like the stories of like
true. That's probably more likely
Odell
than Odell being the
after
toxic.
I don't think Odell is toxic. I really don't. There's a lot of wide receivers out there who are like that, but what has Odell really done that?
Oh no. What the? Oh my.
It's bad. But
That was
I don't
entertaining.
know.
It was.
That Josh Norman game, he was out of hand in that game for sure. But I mean, he was I don't think the Rams like win the Super Bowl with. I mean, if he stayed healthy throughout that Super Bowl, I think he wins Super Bowl MVP. They could not.
Oh, he was on a
every-
tear. Yeah, he was on a tear.
Cooking everyone run one-on-one throughout those playoffs. So if like I don't know when he'll be healthy, and I don't know if he'll be the same off the ACL tear, but like I'm not concerned about Odell in a locker room situation. I think that's a little overblown.
I would love Odell on the Packers just because he's one of my favorite players. I don't really know if he fits our scheme, but
I mean,
he's
that's,
fun to watch.
that's why I would lean towards Julio. Yeah.
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 But Julio better, in my
Julio
opinion,
better,
right now.
for sure.
Julio better right now.
Julio better.
No concerns about his locker room presence at all. I think he'd fit right in. No second ACL tear in 3 years or whatever it is. And although he's had several hamstring injuries, but he's still good. I swear he's still good.
Yeah.
Alrighty, before we wrap things up.
Sadly,
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. I,
I was just going to say, sadly, the Packers are not very free agent heavy.
True.
They are not.
Which, I mean, it's
They're not.
worked. You
Nah, they
know?
roll.
It's worked. Mostly.
I think, I mean, more Super Bowls. I think like every single team who's won a Super Bowl, I think it was a mistake. I don't think, I mean, it's worked in that the team has remained good, but like, I mean, the Rams win the Super Bowl without signing Von Miller and Odell Beckham as free agents, right? And you can look at any the Bucks don't win the Super Bowl without bringing in Ndamukong Suh or Tom Brady, a pretty big free agent.
Yeah.
Trying to think Super Bowls before that, Frank Clark, the move for him for the Chiefs, and I'm trying to remember who else they brought in, but every single Super Bowl champion has had high level free agent role players on it, and even us, like signing Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith were, and Rasul Douglas, like we're more free agent heavy than we used to be, and it kind of was a reinvigoration of the franchise that seemed to be kind of on a downturn. So I think adding free agents, like your team you can't buy a super team. You need to draft and develop, but need some impact free agents.
The free agency is just to fill those last 2 holes.
2 or 3 free agent role players is enough, but the Packers would just stay completely away from it for years.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, before we wrap things up here, Theo, I have a question for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me at all? Dear God.
Read your lips, but yeah. No.
Can you hear me now?
Man.
Nope. Nope.
Oh my God. You know what?
Man.
There you are.
Oh, there it is.
Can you hear me now?
There it is.
Can you hear me now?
As you were raging. Yep.
Okay.
You
Okay. Theo, I have one final question for you, just because it's kind of my brand at this point. How do you, not just with the Packers, but as a general thing, as a general stance, how do you feel about the fullback position in today's NFL?
Get more and more valuable as you start to see these too high coverages throughout the league. I think like the power running game is going to become more and more efficient as like teams start to spread out to defend like Mahomes and Josh Allen. I mean, we saw Mahomes get his like high end value capped a little bit because of what teams were doing with the 2 high shells and taking guys out of the box. You know how to, and you saw the Titans, a power running team, become the 1 seed that situation. You know, I think that we're going to see the fullback position in sort of these counterculture power running schemes become more valuable as teams start to get out of the 1 high Legion of Boom archetype to defense. Yeah. So I miss John Kuhn too. And I'll actually never forgive Ripkowski for fumbling in the
I forgot
Falcons
about Aaron
NFC champion.
Ripkowski. Yep.
For fumbling in the Falcons game. But I legitimately do think like, and we're seeing more like Juszczyk and these like Shanahan archetypes. I actually think that a fullback storm is brewing, where some of these guys like, or DeGuara on the Packers. I mean,
that's not a fullback. Let's not get twisted. That man is a tight end wearing a fullback suit. He's not a real fullback.
He's a weird H back, and that might be what fullbacks become, is like kind of this H back Juszczyk. Like I called Cooper Kupp a fullback like a couple times last year, just because he lines up like sort of in the backfield and like split inside a little bit. So I think the fullback positions, we're gonna see more fullbacks, and we're gonna see more two running back sets or whatever.
I didn't even have to ask this man to push an agenda. I just asked him his opinion, and he knew right away. Theo Ash knows ball, ladies and gentlemen. But that's going to be all for this. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I really, really do appreciate it. It was a ton of fun. Hopefully, at some point, I know Jake will be working together in the future. Theo, I'd love to have you on again at any point to push more fullback narratives.
If we see a big fullback game, I'll come on and talk about it.
Awesome. Yeah. Love that. Love that.
The Bears have a fullback on the
Yes,
roster?
they do. They
a
signed Kari Blasingame, baby. Brought him over from the Titans.
From the Titans.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
from the Titans.
Yeah.
Yep. And
I'm a sick man, and I know that. But
no,
okay.
That just, it's, again, it attests to your knowledge of ball. If you know fullbacks, you know ball. That's how I approach the sport. But anyways, like I said, that's going to be all for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming on. See you in the next one.